morning, dear students. Welcome you all. Best of luck for your annual examination. And dear student, you know about your syllabus. Your syllabus will come from periodic test second to annual exam syllabus. Understand? Annual examination syllabus. So, dear student, first we are going to revise the chapter and the chapter name is Fire, Friend and Foe. And in this exam you will write answers, so you have to know about the answer, and here you will write the answer in detail. Descriptive type questions will come, so you have to be prepared for yourself to get better result in the examination. So now come on the chapter Fire, Friend and Foe. Early man had no idea what fire was, but he had seen the destruction caused by fire. He had also seen the lightning and volcanoes long before he himself learned the uses of fire. He was afraid of fire because it was powerful and dangerous. So, dear student, you know that fire is your friend if you know how to use fire. If you use fire wisely, fire is your friend. And in the other hand, in contrast, if you don't know how to tackle with fire, how to use fire, fire will be destructive. Fire will create great destruction. Understand? So first of all, we have to know what is fire. How does it break out? Dear student, you know that it is the result of a chemical reaction. Fuel contains, you know that fuel contains carbon and hydrogen. When oxygen in the air combines with carbon and hydrogen, the reaction takes place. But the fuel needs heat to catch fire. Three things are needed to make fire. These three things are necessary to make fire: fuel, oxygen and heat. Bereft of these, we will not get fire. To make fire, these three things are needed, compulsory. And what are the most common fuels? These are wood, coal, cooking gas and petrol. When we blow on a mildly burning paper, it bursts into flames. Fuel and oxygen don't catch fire by themselves. Heat is provided with a lighted match. The particular temperature at which the fuel begins to burn is called the flash point or kindling temperature of the fuel. Understand? Dear student, you know that fire is a good servant but a very cruel bad master. It is useful as long as it is under control. If fire is under control, it is your servant. And if fire will be uncontrolled, it will be bad master, cruel master. We use some form of fire to cook food, to warm our homes and to produce electricity. but uncontrolled fire burns homes and forests and also kills people. We can put out the fire in three ways. If we take the fuel away, no burning can take place. Understand? The second way of putting out a fire is to stop the supply of oxygen. Small fires are stopped by throwing a wet blanket, understand, blanket on it. The checks, this checks the supply. When you will throw blanket, small fires are stopped by throwing wet blanket on it. This checks the supply of oxygen, and afterward what will happen? Carbon dioxide is also sprayed to cut out oxygen supply. Second way. The third way is to remove the heat or bring down the temperature. Understand? Water spray can't put out the oil fire. If you want to control oil fire, don't spray water. Understand? In fact, it can prove dangerous. Water can carry burning oil with it and thus spread fire. Understand? So, likewise, water should not be used to fight electric fire, but it may cause electric shock. Today, there are firefighters is fighting squads in every town. In the past, people used to form a chain to carry water from some tank to the house on fire. Firemen are highly trained persons. They The discovery of fire led to settled life. Fire is still worshipped in many parts of the world. So now we have completed the chapter. So this is the summary of the chapter. Dear student, now we will revise the poem Meadow Surprises. The poem is composed by Louis Brandeis Phillips. The poet L.B. Louis Brandeis Phillips explained the beauty of the nature, and in the meadows one can explore it if one looks carefully. Understand? Anyone can explore surprises in meadows if anyone can look carefully. He said that meadows have surprises but could be seen only if you look and listen cautiously, such as hopping of a rabbit, butterflies sitting on flowers sucking nectar, dandelions, a kind of flower, dandelions and other flowers, nests, burrows, you will get big hole, burrows, and mounds, hips of various animals and birds. There are various surprises if you try to discover them. Understand? So this chapter has been completed here. Chapter number 8, the story and the poem. Dear student, now we will start the chapter 9. The chapter name is A Bicycle in Good Repair. The chapter is written by Jerome K. Jerome. The student questions and answers and all the exercises have been completed. So you have to study thoroughly by yourself to get better result in the annual examination. Here we are only going to summarize the chapter. You have to study question answer, all the exercises you have to see. So come on, the summary of the chapter, A Bicycle in Good Repair. Bicycle is a common man's car, the cheapest means of convenience and transport, but it has to be kept in working condition, in proper condition. The narrator, one who tells about the story, the narrator once agreed to go for a long bicycle ride. The suggestion came from his friend. It was a lovely day. Understand? It was a lovely day. The friend arrived late. He examined the bicycle. He lifted the fore wheel, front wheel, and shook it hard, violently. He declared that the front wheel moved from side to side. Understand? We can say it wobble. The narrator did not like his action and comment what he commented. What he commented, the narrator did not like his action and comment, but he dared not counter it. The man said that it was dangerous to ride such a defective bicycle. He asked for a hammer. He demanded hammer to the narrator. By the time the writer returned with some tool, the man had taken out the wheel. The remaining body of the machine lay on the path. Then the man turned his attention to the bearings. He did ignore the narrators. He ignored the narrator's protest. He let out so many little balls over the path. Both worked for half an hour to recover bearing balls, 60 of them. By both worked for half an hour to recover 60 of them. The narrator put those balls safely in his hat at the doorstep. The man then began to tackle the chain, started to work on chain, on the chain. He either made it too tight or too loose. Then he turned to the gearbox. He opened up the box but lost the screws. The mischief was going on. He was doing such action. He was tackling with gearbox, chain, and front wheel. So afterward, the mischief was going on, and the narrator felt helpless. He let the man have his own way. He left the man to do the job because the narrator was unable to check him, to stop him. Understand? It was now time to get the front wheel back between the fork. You have seen the fork, front fork, chimta in Hindi we say. It was a sort of regular warfare to put the wheel in position, but soon the man discovered that he had forgotten to put the balls in place. The balls in the meantime were rolling in the middle of the path. The man was laughing. Understand? Such was Such was his cheerful nature. The front wheel was filled with a lesser number of balls. It now began to wobble more than before. He began to refix the gear box. The bicycle had enough of mischief. It had a will of its own. It refused to cooperate with its bully. There was a regular fight between the man and the machine. He grappled with the bicycle when the work was finished. He looked tired. He looked tired, dirty, and bleeding. The narrator led him to the back kitchen to clean himself. So, here in this story, we get that the narrator, the friend of the narrator, who was mending the bicycle, but he was unable to mend it properly, and he created a lot of disturbance, a lot of problem to the bicycle, and at last disabled. He was dirty, he was tired, he looked tired, dirty, and bleeding. Understand? So, but he was looking in cheerful disposition. The narrator was happy to see his cheerful disposition, his confidence that he was working on such thing where he was unknown about it. Dear student, now we will revise the chapter Garden Snake. The poem is composed by Muriel Hiel Sonnet. This poem is about a harmless garden snake and about the misconception that all snakes are dangerous and poisonous. Understand? The child in the poem got afraid of a snake, but his mother told him that all snakes are not harmful and that it was just a garden snake who eats insect for his food. So, in this poem, we get that the child who was afraid of to the snakes, but his mother but his mother told his mother broke his misconception that all snakes are not dangerous. All snakes are not dangerous and poisonous, and the snake that are the snake that is in garden, the snake that is in garden is a harmless snake, and snake and the garden snake eats insects for his food. So, dear student, you have to do question answer yourself on the basis of study. Whatever the question answers, whatever the exercises are done, you have to revise yourself. Understand? From periodic test, from PT second term. Understand? And these chapters, PT second chapters, has had been revised earlier. Understand? So you have to study yourself. Dear student, now we will start the revision of the chapter, the story of cricket. The chapter is written by Ramchandra Guha. The chapter is about the story of cricket from its origin till now. Dear student, you know that cricket, it grew in England 500 years ago. The word bat means simply stick or club. By the 17th century, cricket evolved camel light as a distinct special game. Till the middle of the 18th century, bats were roughly the same shape as a hockey stick, just because the ball was bowled under arm. On that time, no other modern team sport takes even half as much time to complete as cricket takes. A test match can go on for 5 days, and even the limited over match takes a long time. Another curious, interesting characteristic of cricket is that the length of the pitch is 22 yards, and there does not lay down the dimension of the playing area. There is no dimension of playground, but you know that the length of the pitch is 22 yards. Understand? The first written written laws of cricket were drawn up in 1744, in which stated they stated the umpires to solve the disputes in matches. The stumps must be 22 inches high and the bell across them 6 inches. The bell must be between 5 to 6 ounces in weight. The world's first cricket club was formed in Hambledon in England in 1760, and the Marylebone Cricket Club. This is the name of the cricket club. Marylebone Cricket Club (MCC) was founded in 1787 in England. During the 1760s and 70s, it became common to pitch the ball through the air. It also opened new possibilities for spin and swing. In 1774, the first leg before law was published, and a third stump became common. By 1780s, 3 days had become the length of a major match. Even the game's equipments have also changed from its origins in rural England. The bat is made with leather, twine, and cork. The material of the bat changed slowly over time. Once it was cut out of a single piece of wood, and now it consists of two pieces: the blade, which is made out of the wood, understand, of the willow tree, and the handle, which is made out of cane that became available as European colonialists. The game have been influenced by technological change. The invention of vulcanized rubber, the invention of vulcanized rubber led to introduction of pads in 1848 and protective gloves soon afterwards. So here summary, we will start the summary of part second of the chapter. The origins of Indian cricket are found in Mumbai, and the first community to play cricket was the Parsis. The Parsis founded the first Indian cricket club, the Oriental Cricket Club, in 1848, when which was sponsored, supported by Parsi businessmen like the Tatas and the Wadias. There was a quarrel between the Bombay Gymkhana, and the Parsi cricketers over the use of a public park. The Parsis complained that the park was left unfit for cricket because the polo ponies, horses that were used for playing polos of the Bombay Gymkhana dug up the surface, and the rivalry enmity had a happy ending as they pioneered one who we say that leader. They pioneered the Indian cricket. Modern cricket is dominated by Tatas and sorry what I'm telling. Yes, the rivalry had a happy ending as they pioneered the Indian cricket. Modern cricket is dominated by Test and ODIs, one days played between national teams. CK Naidu lives on in the popular imagination, whereas some others like Palwankar Vittal, Palwankar Ballu have been forgotten. Naidu was the country's first test captain who played its first who played his first test match against England in 1932. India entered the World Test cricket in 1932 before 1.5 decades of independence, because the test cricket from its origin in 1877 was organized as a contest between different parts of British Empire. The first test between England and Australia was played when Australia was still a white settler colony. Dear student, you know that television coverage expanded the audience of the cricket by beaming into small towns and villages. The technology of satellite television and the worldwide reach of multinational television companies have created a global market for cricket. Since India had the largest viewership and market, the game's center of gravity shifted to South Asia, which also symbolized the shifting of ICC headquarters from London to tax-free Dubai. Today, as compared to 150 years ago, Indian players are the best paid, most famous cricketers. The transformation was made up of many smaller changes. The replacement of the gentlemanly amateur by the paid professional. The one day game overshadowed the test cricket and the remarkable changes in global commerce and technology. So because of technology, the cricket viewership has been has the cricket viewership has increased nowadays, and earlier the players who were amateur, they are now paid professional and they get more money because of the great demand of cricket in the world. Understand? So in this way we have completed the chapter. So dear student, you have to study completely, thoroughly. You have to learn question answer, do all the exercises, so that, and you have to study the chapters thoroughly, so that you will do the questions will which will come in your annual examination. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you.